Oh shit. I know it's gonna be blurry. Okay. Shit. Okay, so we're doing live playback of my 2 brand new tracks, so you guys can hear them. Of course, it's much better if you just go to the SoundCloud, which will be posted right after this video of the 2 new tracks. I'm also losing my voice, so woo. So the first one's called A Life Without End. Oops. That's fine. So that's it on SoundCloud. Hold on. It gets so blurry. So this is what I actually used to write the song with Throttle Dj and a bunch of samples. So let's see here. I'm gonna pull up Throttle. I'm much better to look at than a computer screen, but I'll show you the interesting part when we get there. I have this awesome subwoofer right now. It's really kicking ass. What am I looking for again? So this track also has custom artwork by Chris Denton and Authentic Peace. You can find him most prominently on Facebook and also on... So I'm getting nervous my sound input's going to change, but I think it'll be alright. And also, you can go to his Threadless. He just got a job on a hippie cruise ship that's made of wood and has sails. And they're a theater company. He's doing like camera work for them. So he needs to get up there. He needs help, so buy something off the Threadless. He made the artwork for this entirely himself using my sigil. So, anyways. So this is Throttle DJ. Yes, I have to go in because my phone's focus is really broken. Okay, so basically what I did was I took out of my sample packs. Here's one. I found loops. You can tell they're loops because they have beats per minute a lot of times. I don't know if I use them. This is like a cool one, so I'd put it in on one deck and put another one on the second deck, another one on the third deck, another one on the fourth deck, and that basically acts as a track stem, which is a concept. Who's putting that out? Magix? Or is it Ableton? I can't remember. Anyways, the stems are pretty useful. So blurry. I can mix those, using effects, using equalizer and filters, volume. But I also can pull up 8 sample pads, and that's how I kind of get the variety in these. And these are free-form kind of experimentation. Hey, so, we're just listening to the 2 new tracks I posted. I was explaining my process of how I made them, using my turntables here, a bunch of samples, and, this program, Throttle DJ Pro. I'm sorry, my camera's fucked up, so, so I pull samples in to each of the 4 decks, and then I can manipulate them. And then I also have like more effects I can pull here that are manipulatable. Hey, is that loud enough? Can you hear it okay? Oh, you left. God, this bass is, if you could hear it, just like shaking the fuck out of my desk. I actually probably have to turn it down just a little bit. Favorite thing. So I really like this compositional method a lot. It's a lot of fun. The idea here being, as I have my own loops and synths that I've created based off of the synthesizers and Bitwig and some of the VSTs that I have, where I'm no longer using presets but crafting stuff from scratch, which is increasingly the case, and actually majority of the times what I'm doing, where I'm using pretty heavy sample manipulation up. We're going to play Guilty Pleasure now. Oh shit, turn off. I like this one a lot more. It's really a fun process, but as I go, basically, I have started getting my tracks kind of exported into stems, and because I'm an orchestral composer, I always have like a million extra tracks, right? Well, I don't really have a million, but I can definitely fit it within 8 effects pads that can be, you know, set up ahead of time to be like whether they're going to loop or play straight, so I don't have to manipulate those kind of like more specific but less entertaining to see live aspects of the performance, and I can focus on just getting the pads tuned in right and manipulating with effects and kind of sculpting that way. This is better than any of the house music I've produced. Oh yes, the technique here is mixing. I'm just dealing with samples on a 4 deck and with FX. So it's like I'm just manipulating samples live in real time with effects. It's its own form of composition, in my opinion. In both of these, I'm improvising. I spent about 10 minutes picking out the samples that I was going to use for each. Maybe like 3 to 5 of that was just kind of like playing around with them, so I had an idea of what the structure of each one would be. The rest was just fun. And I've been doing these a lot. Most of them are recorded, but these are probably the best too. Earrings caught me one year. Oh, what is in the wrong thing? Weird. The nice thing about Throttle Dj is how like crisp and full everything comes out sounding when it hits the speakers. It's really, there's I mean, you know, you're already dealing with like mastered music, but I've heard some mixing that just gets kind of gray. It's very chaotic. There's a lot of distortion where and there seems to be a lot of like a lot more kind of like congruousness between samples or tracks when you put them together in Serato. Like everything's just kind of like mixed and mastered a little nicely for you already. I don't know, it's interesting. So I made the artwork for this one. It is of a sheet of ecstasy pills. And overlaid over that is a still shot of a scene from a 1978 BDSM film. And then over that's some bokeh and clever filter blending, layer blending. And then also, you know, there's like cutouts so you can see all the ecstasy pills behind it. I think it's some of my finest work yet. I love how subversive it feels. So, we're like 3/4 of the way through. I'm just going to continue talking through the whole thing. You guys, what's coming up next? So, tomorrow or the next day, probably the next day, I'll be releasing like 4 or 5 GarageBand tracks. It'll be 3 or 4 GarageBand tracks plus this kind of bonus that I made in GarageBand as well. That's just an export of one of my old classical pieces. Just because I'm going to put that up because I think you guys should hear it. But the 4 brand new tracks that were in GarageBand, while I had my computer unavailable to work this past month, are pretty awesome and well mastered, of course, because GarageBand makes that easy. But pretty fun tracks. You'll find out more in the next couple days about those. Look forward to those. But what is really exciting is all the Bitwig tracks that I've written, because they do sound quite incredible. I was just listening to a bunch of them tonight. I'm realizing, like, I have about, an album's worth done, 12 tracks at least, fully mixed, ready to put out with those. So I'm going to be figuring out how I'm going to release them, and you guys are going to be figuring out how you enjoy them. And we're almost done. All right. Well, thanks for all the visitors. Hopefully I see some more of you later, or you'll catch me on Facebook or whatever. Looking forward to putting out a lot more music. Getting the digital art out there soon, and things are looking up. So, I just gotta keep my head together. Sometimes seems harder than it I guess really is. I don't know. Enjoy. Asshole. Where's it going? Okay, there.